this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Get It Right Texoma with the trio, Mike Hendren, Terry McAdams, Trey Serrala. We are glad to have you here with us once again. Thank you if you're joining us on YouTube. Thank you for doing that. Also, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. We get together here to inform and entertain you, we hope, a little bit, and also to keep you abreast of all the events going on around Texoma and the news and information that you need. We also throw in some regional, state, national news, international news, and intergalactic as necessary.
Beam me up, Scotty.
If the sun blows up, you'll hear about it here first.
There you go.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, actually, you may not. You may not hear anything except boom. Anyway, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. It's brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles, located at 401 North Scott in downtown Wichita Falls. Since 1966, been around a day or two. EddieHillsFunCycles.com, the website. They've also got Hustler Mowers as well. Absolutely. And you've added another. You were talking about a new product line that you were adding.
Right. We just got the antenna in. We don't have them in yet, but we have Crest robotic mowers. We're getting the robotic mowers. They just installed the antenna at our store just this last week. Did the final installation. So
like a Roomba for your lawn, huh?
Basically, yep. Yeah, for people that don't like to mow,
yeah,
it'll basically take care of it for you. And there's a lot of other applications to it. You know, it's not just people who don't like to mow. You know, look, if you have a little tiny yard, you know, if you sit on a quarter of an acre, you're probably not going to need one of these things. Mm-hmm. But if you if you have a couple acres to mow and you don't want to mow or don't have time to mow or something like that, it's a good investment. Also, a lot of people, regional airports, people don't think about that. Regional airfields, one of the challenges they have is labor to keep everything mowed. Well, you put one of those things out there, and year-round, it just keeps everything mowed.
Yeah, it'll do it. 24/7 too, as long as I guess even if it's raining. No, you wouldn't want to do it in the rain.
Probably not. Probably not rain, but it's electric.
Right.
So it's a mapped out. You go mow a certain bit, then go charge, and then go back and pick up where it left off or whatever, and it. Yeah, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, because I mean, it just goes and does it just a little bit at a time and keeps it.
And Crest has their own infrastructure, so it's a different system. It doesn't rely on GPS. So if you have a cloud cover and stuff like that, I guess you don't have an issue. I'm not sure how it all works, but it's a different infrastructure. So we'll have probably 3 antennas up in this area.
Technology is a fascinating thing.
Crest?
Crest.
Crest, C-R-E.
K-R-E-S.
Okay.
K-R-E.
See, throw me out.
It's German.
K-R-E. Let's say it again.
Crest. You have to say it with anger in your voice.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have a certain.
Okay.
Like you're really upset.
I'm gonna have to check this out just because the technology.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Well, speaking of technology,
once we get them in, I'll have you come over and you check it out. Just check it out.
All right.
Speaking of technology, this podcast also brought to you by MacTech Solutions.
That is the ultimate technology right there.
It is. Located at 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B here in Wichita Falls. MacTech-Solutions.com, as the name implies, they do sell and service Apple products. So if you're in the market for a new computer, an iPad, or if you need repairs on your device, MacTech Solutions in Wichita Falls is the place to bring it here in North Texas and Southern Oklahoma. MacTech-Solutions.com, the website.
Yep.
And you can bring it in from anywhere.
Right,
but it's probably going to be more convenient for if you live in North Texas or Southern Oklahoma. If you live in Walla Walla, Washington, it might not be convenient, but Terry will take care of you.
Well, we have customers up in Wichita, Kansas, and they'll actually, even though Apple doesn't pay for the shipping, they'll ship it to us just to get us to repair it.
So you could ship it and ship it back to them.
Yes.
They don't have to drive to your location.
Correct. We'll work with you. Yep.
Interstate commerce is alive and well here.
Yep. And we are authorized.
That's right.
We're actually not just that we sell it, we actually fully authorize.
He's authorized to.
Authorized.
So when they repair it, they're going to be using genuine Apple replacement parts, not some secondhand, junky aftermarket made in some sweatshop somewhere, God knows where corner of the world.
Be careful, because I don't know where the Apple products are made, but let's be careful.
But they're Apple. They're
at least they're genuine sweatshop Apple products.
Well, here's an example.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying all Samsung, everything else.
You bust your screen on your iPhone. Okay, there are certain specs Apple obviously uses.
Apple's engineered it and has an Apple Apple chosen contractor, one of the big ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the other one might have been made in someone's basement. Who knows?
You don't know.
Okay.
Or
you don't
rebuilt an Apple genuine that they actually refurbish on their own to their own specifications. And
Yeah.
so,
That's the biggest thing which you said, Terry, and it is true because it's true in the power sports business as well.
Yeah.
There are things that we sell that are made in China and Taiwan and things like that. But like Kawasaki's very quickly to say, it's Kawasaki engineered. It's our engineering, it's our materials, it's our design.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, we might have something built in Taiwan.
Right.
And it's not most of their stuff, all their side by sides and all that are built in America, but some of the small stuff is built offshore. But they'll say it's Kawasaki. It is not the company that we contracted with that did the labor design. It's our design. It's our engineering. The metallurgy is what we say, and Apple's the same way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They have an Apple employee, at least one or two, I'm sure, on site at all the assembly plants and everything, and but we're also authorized to sell.
That's right.
So
right.
by Apple.
Right. MacTech-Solutions.com, the website. Also, this podcast brought to you by Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop. Some fantastic sweet treats for you. Homemade style pies, cookies, pralines, and king cakes as well. We're started doing king cakes too.
With the baby in them.
Yes.
What's a king cake?
Well, okay, so a king cake is...
You are not a Cajun, are you?
Yeah. It's traditionally you have king cakes usually around Mardi Gras time.
Okay, I know.
And the tradition with the king cake is you put a little baby Jesus inside the cake.
in there.
And whoever gets the slice of cake with the baby in it has good luck for the rest of the year.
Oh,
Yeah.
and do people choke on this?
No.
It's hidden, right?
Well, you know the cake is, well, it's not a micro Jesus. I mean, it's about that big, and you know that it's in there, so you kind of keep a look for it.
You don't bite into baby Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. If you buy baby Jesus, you have bad luck.
Yeah, well,
Buy baby Jesus, baby Jesus might buy
is
back.
it plastic?
Yeah,
Or is it?
yeah.
It's plastic.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
so
you bite into baby Jesus, the next thing you know, a lightning bolt hits your eyes. That was Jesus' daddy coming down.
All right,
You're in trouble now.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's just a little baby. It's just a little baby Jesus.
I got it. All right,
Online,
And that's why it's
lpsweet.com.
called the king cake.
I get it. Yeah, I get that.
The king is in
yeah,
there.
Yes, I understand that.
lpsweet.com, on Facebook, Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, LOLLIE.
But the flavor of it, it's kind of a
Lollipops.
vanilla custardy type flavor cake. It's kind of a plain. It's kind of a
it's
plain cake.
Millie
It's a-
vanilla.
They're good, but they're plain. They're not.
But yeah, we do a couple of varieties. Brown sugar and cinnamon. There's also a raspberry and cream cheese.
Really, the only king cakes I've ever
yeah.
had were plain.
No. Well,
So it's a different.
Yeah.
So the king cake is because it's the Jesus in it. There's different flavors of king cake.
there are
I
various
didn't realize
flavors.
that. And I've had king cake in New Orleans.
Yeah, the brown sugar and cinnamon is the most popular one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It just because it's really sweet, it's really light, and it's of course you got this this gooey, sugary, sweet icing on top of it, multicolored. Oh,
Yeah.
man, it just whoo! I'm hungry thinking about one right now.
His blood sugar just spiked. Just thinking
It
about
did.
it.
I'm so hungry. Where was I? Oh yes, we need to move on here.
Yes, we do.
Camp Out with Base Camp Lindsay. This is a homeless veterans awareness group. Mm-hmm. They've been working for several years now, trying to get a homeless veterans encampment. I guess
Camping
basically
shelter.
Shelter.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is get it to where they have different like tiny houses or something along those lines.
Yes, something like that. So this is coming up on August 30th, so just a couple of weeks out here from the recording of this podcast. And that's going to be, do we know where that's going to?
It's at Base Camp Lindsay. You have to look
Tell
it up.
people where the location. I can't.
Yeah,
My brain
Google
can't-
search it.
Yeah, Google it. Base Camp Lindsay here in Wichita Falls. And then
Yeah,
we
it's
got,
not out in the middle of nowhere. It is around Wichita Falls.
and then we got Texoma Gives coming up on September the 5th. Now, this is an annual thing. This is their 9th, 10th year maybe doing this. And basically we have pretty much every nonprofit in the area now is taking part in this. Last year I think it was over 250 nonprofits that were taking part in it. And they come together on this one day and ask for people to donate to the organization of their choice as part of this day of giving known as Texoma Gives. And so they'll have a website, I think it's texomagives.org, I think is the website. Right. You go there and you'll have a list of all the nonprofits that are taking part in that day of giving, and you can pick 1 or 10 or however many you choose to give to. You know, if you want to give $5 to 10 of them or $50 to one, however you want to do it.
And I'm going to make a pitch for one. I know you may want to make a pitch for a different one. I'm going to make a pitch for Redneck Culinary Academy.
Yeah,
we're involved in Texoma Gives. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and do cooking for charities. We volunteer fire departments. We're actually going to have a big volunteer fire department event coming up in November for a lot of area volunteer fire departments. Yes. We're going to talk about that at some point. Yeah. Hospice of Wichita Falls, we cook for the city. We cook for a lot of nonprofits. Our big cook every year, and we talked about this before, is in April. We cook for a weekend for veterans who go out on the hog hunt. So, so my pitch on that one is, I mean, there's a lot of great organizations, you know, Campfire, North Texas. There's a lot of them that are great. But
and if you go to their website, texomagives.org, you can learn a lot more about the whole initiative. And it is, I guess, really operated by the Wichita Falls Area Community Foundation. Yes. So they are behind it all, and you can search to see if you're a Redneck Culinary Academy or whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a few years ago the Community Foundation went to where it's self-sufficient, to where all the donations, every money that's taken in donations goes out to the places it's supposed to go.
Right, right.
Yeah, Ty Thacker and the Thackers and a few other people started this Texoma Community Foundation when United Way kind of went sideways a few years ago, and I believe they've got it to where it's self-sustaining. It's got enough money where it's self-sustaining.
Yeah.
So there's not very many salaries that are paid. Their overhead is very low. And so I believe all the money you give goes out to the organizations, and none of it goes actually to run the organization.
Well, the organization I'll pitch for, the nonprofit that I'll make a pitch for, is Casa of Red River. Full disclosure, I'm on their board.
Another great organization.
And so we're one of the organizations that hopefully will benefit from Texoma Gives on September the 5th. And the early giving part of it actually starts in a few days, about a week.
August 22nd.
Okay, so not quite a week.
Early giving begins on August 22nd. And
the big day is September 5.
Right.
So that's the big push on September the 5th. All right, so let's see here. We want to talk about Hotter Than Hell?
No, we'll go to the next page
Word.
right there.
Sorry.
We got stories. Look, right there. There you go.
Oh.
Keep going down.
No, I didn't know. This is a new format, guys.
Okay.
We've got it here. We got the next page.
We on paper. Okay, here we go. I almost forgot about our restaurant focus.
Yeah.
Our local restaurants. So each show, we try to focus on a locally owned, locally operated restaurant here in the Wichita Falls area, North Texas area. And this one today on this show is going to be Samurai of Tokyo.
Yes.
Which is really a legendary Japanese restaurant here.
Yeah, steakhouse here in town. It's been around for a long time.
Long time. And
I don't think there's better rice.
Oh, no.
If you like fried rice.
Fried rice, yes.
I don't think there's a better fried rice. I've never had a better fried rice anywhere.
And their secret sauce or whatever whatever.
That's what makes the fried rice so good.
Yeah.
I think they call it mushroom sauce or something like that.
I
don't think it has any mushrooms in it.
I don't know what it is.
It's
just dump it on. Dump it on. Yeah, come on with it. You know.
Samurai Tokyo is a great place. It's really good food. And by the way, you plan on waiting.
Oh yeah.
If you go,
yeah,
it's family style. So you sit around, so you get to see people you don't. Unless you take a huge party, you're going to be sitting with people that you don't know. Mm-hmm. And also, hot pro tip: go to lunch. If you want to save a few bucks.
Yeah, it's a good value.
It's about half the price of the dinner, and they don't do the little tower with onions in it, but everything else, the food's the same.
Well, they will do it at lunch for you. The volcano.
If you've
got a little kid with you who cries about it.
Oh, okay. How do you know, Mike?
Because I did.
Yeah, and you cried.
I cried, and they did it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when he took his grandkids, Mike cried about it.
I did. That's right. I cried about it.
So, please do it, please. Remember where they used to be?
Yeah, they used to be over in Central Plaza.
Yeah, and then they moved. They built this building right there on duck or mallard or
Mallard.
Okay.
Yeah, mallard.
Yeah,
Hey,
tell me-
mallard is a duck. You were right there. Yeah.
You were in the right species.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah.
And then so they do that. Yeah, we go there occasionally, and they rotate their menu. They have it's surf and turf.
Oh, well, they always have hibachi chicken and hibachi beef.
No, but on the special.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
a hibachi chicken, hibachi beef.
Okay, yeah, the beef. Yeah, we like to have it well done on the beef. If just to let you know, I'm not usually a well done on my steak. Lucy is, but I'm not. But on that, I have them do it well done because it soaks in that sauce longer, and it actually tastes better, and it gets a little caramelized if you do it right. So I think that's a good.
That's another pro tip. Well, it's thin stuff, so I can see that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you do well done on a big old steak. You take a filet mignon and you do well done. You start with a piece of meat like that big, and then it's
right,
it looks like that.
Right.
Shoe leather.
It takes a little longer, but they'll set it aside for you, and they'll if you've got an allergy or something, you tell them, and they'll do yours separately or whatever.
And I'm allergic to shrimp, but I don't say anything. It doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not so allergic to shrimp. I can't eat shrimp, but having food cooked on the same flat top they're cooking shrimp doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, but on that, so they basically on the special, just so you know, because it's a big deal for a lot of people. Yeah. But they basically rotate. I don't know what the order is, but it'll be over a 4-week process or time. They'll do steak 1 week. Let's say, and then they might do fish the next week, and then they'll do chicken, and then they'll do the shrimp.
Okay.
And it's a few dollars difference, but all of them are good value. I mean, that's probably the best deal for what you get, and you're going to count on, for a lot of people, you're going to take home extras.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like to get leftovers. I like to get two rices. And then take a whole thing and get a container and just take a whole one home with
And by the way, this is nothing about the quality of the food and the taste, but our chickens love samurai leftovers.
Okay.
Just
Hey.
yeah.
If
we didn't get a chance to eat it,
That's why those eggs have such an exotic flavor.
There you go. Why does my egg taste like teriyaki sauce?
But anyway,
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Harris Walls saga.
Walls.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So let me lay this out too, real quick on Walls. So I'm not real wild about how some people are making a lot out of some of his things. Now, some of it he's made some comments that say, "Hey, he was in war." It seems that he left that impression that he was actually in a combat zone, and apparently not. But mostly about like his retirement out of it. He had already been in 24 years.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And so that's a big deal. Whether there's not exercise, but some sort of thing happening. If the Army doesn't want you to get out, they will hold you in. I mean, there's nothing they can do. Things there's certain things they can do to extend your enlistment in the military. Okay, they have done, and during based on your career field. So if you take everything at its what they said, the report is he had already applied. And sure, they know that they're probably going to go, hey, I didn't want to go to like Korea, right? So I applied for various programs, various assignments in different places. And now it didn't work out. I did get an assignment to Korea, but fortunately I had made master sergeant. So they didn't need a master sergeant. So,
I agree with you, Terry. That's one of those, at 24 years, getting out of the military at 24 years, especially if there's a possibility you're going to go anywhere. Yeah. It's not just because at 24 years, you probably have started a family. Yeah. There's a lot of things. So some of his stuff is BS.
Army,
but I agree that getting out after 24 years and not going to Iraq after 20, because look, you don't know if you're going to be over there for 3 months or 5 years. And if you've been doing for 24 years, you might end up with 30 years over there. I mean, I don't disagree with that. But saying the weapons I carried during war, that was wrong. But that's a lie. It's not. He didn't misspoke. Yeah. And the other one was standing on that airstrip in Bagram. Yes, he was on an airstrip in Bagram when he was part of a legislative delegation. He made it. I haven't heard that one. Oh yeah, yes, yeah. He made it sound like he was in Bagram when he was in the military, strapped on with gear and all that sort of stuff in a combat zone. No, he flew with once he was, because he was in the House of Representatives,
right,
and he went over there with a legislative delegation. And yes, so he did stand on an airfield in Bagram, but it wasn't when he was in the military.
Right.
And he's let people think that he said things that way, and he's let people think that. That's where I was.
Right. And the other thing was about his rank. They had talked about his rank.
Yes.
Now, so I did a little research into this. Okay, because there are some really weird rules. So in the Air Force, the equivalent of this sergeant major, command sergeant major, is somewhat, it's two things kind of rolled into one. It's a position, right? And to hold that position, you're supposed to be an E9.
Right.
Which is like in the Air Force, it's the chief master sergeant.
Right.
But there's each location. When I entered the Air Force, it was the senior enlisted advisor. When later through my career, they came up with as the command chief, and at different command levels, okay, based on like at the command level, at the base level here, it's command chief, but it's in that, at this base, and then there's at each level above. So anyway, so apparently when he was in this position in the Guard, he was an E8, I guess is what a master sergeant. I'm a little lost on some of the ranks in the other services, but in this case, normally it's E9. But apparently, in certain circumstances, they can temporarily promote somebody into the position, even if they don't hold the necessary the rank. So he left the impression that so it's possible, and again, I haven't dug much more deeper into it. So technically, if he held the position when he retired, he did do that. Now, I just thought it was interesting that he actually retired at the rank of master sergeant. See, and the other thing is when you're at that, he's about the same time frame I was in the military. You held your rank that you retire at. Mine is master sergeant, but my pay is the high 3. The last 3 years average of my pay is what my retirement pay was based on. Right. So anyway, I just wanted to. I just think, again, every other thing is all on the table, but I think you really lose credibility when you start digging in too picky on a lot of things.
Well, I saw a story yesterday that had talked about him. He was handing out these challenge coins that he had made up that had the insignia, the rank insignia on there was of an E9, when in fact he was an E8. And they're making a big deal about that. There's so many questions about his military service, I think, and I think some of the questions are valid. But what I'm more concerned with, more so even than his military record, is his legislative record as a leader in his state,
yeah, exactly,
and in Congress.
His executive record as a leader, he let Minneapolis burn.
Yes.
He told the people, okay, think about this, folks. Now, put yourselves out of this. We're in Texas, and I know a lot of our listeners have guns.
Yeah.
So
a few.
even though you don't want to take care of business, if business shows up at your doorstep, you're probably going to take care of it.
It's going to be taken care of.
But understand, the laws in Minnesota are different. Now, there's a lot of people in Minnesota have guns, but not necessarily people in Minneapolis that have guns. And I believe their city ordinances are more restrictive than guns. Yeah. When the riots happened, this guy pulled the police out of there.
Yeah.
Did not put the National Guard in.
Right.
And basically told the people in Minneapolis, you're on your own. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That lived in those. So can you imagine how terrifying that would be if you're a taxpayer and you live in that area where they're tearing things down and burning things and setting buildings on fire?
Right.
And you know that nobody's coming to help you, and you're paying taxes to help for that?
He and the officials that surrounded him and supported him allowed that city to burn. They allowed public property to be destroyed, private property to be destroyed, private businesses to be destroyed. They allowed people to burn, loot, steal, rob, destroy, perhaps even kill without consequence.
Not only that, they've allowed people to take over a police precinct.
Yes.
They told the police to abandon. Look, the cops could have You don't think that a bunch of cops loaded or armed can stop a mad mob at a police precinct? Look, you start shooting two or three people, that shit's going to stop in about 2 seconds.
The crowd breaks up quick.
Now, look, I'm not for people peacefully protesting somewhere and the cops going in and shooting them. I'm not saying that. But if you are under attack, you're barricaded in and you're under attack, and this mob is not stopping, you say, hey, we're going to shoot, and they didn't do it, you put a couple of caps in people's asses, and the rest of them will chill out right then because who else now wants it? And then now they know you're serious about it.
Yeah. So it's
a difference between being attacked and defending yourself and not. And yet he told those police officers to flee.
Yeah.
How does that demoralize those police officers as well?
There's a point where you got to decide what kind of leader are you going to get in this person? What kind of leader are you going to get in now, let's talk about Harris for a minute here. This is
two sides of the same coin, right?
Pretty much two sides of a counterfeit coin, in my opinion. Two
sides of a $3 bill.
Yeah, she is going to debate. It's set up. I think it's going to be on ABC debate. She is going to debate Donald Trump, and hilarity is going to ensue.
I'm interested in seeing it.
I'm interested in seeing it because there's no way that she just all of a sudden is going to become this articulate, well-spoken, full of ideas and full of answers. You've had, Madam Vice President, you've had 3.5 years to do something.
Well, she's full of
and you haven't done a damn thing.
Ideas is what she is right now.
Is where two people get together and they debate each other. They talk about issues together
so they can
in
debate.
the same room to debate.
Right.
And it's called a debate because they're debating the debatable things that are debatable.
That's right. Yeah,
and that's not debatable.
Her record, the crazy thing about it is there is not, and she has not made a public statement about any policy ideas. Apparently, there's nothing on her website about policy ideas. The only policy idea she's come up with was no taxes on tips.
Which she stole from Donald Trump.
Right. And not only that, let's go back even more so, Mike and Terry. 2 years ago when she was president of the Senate, and they were going to do what's it called the American Rescue Plan that was going to add 180,000 IRS agents. And specifically in the text, part of the reason for they were going to add these were to go after the service industry and people that are avoiding these tips. Yeah. She cast the deciding vote.
She did.
The tie-breaking vote to make that happen. Yeah. So what is it? And it wasn't like that was 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 6 years ago.
This just happened.
It was 2 years ago.
This just happened.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme
make a donation?
of things.
Yeah, well, let's donate. Oh, but you can donate $47.
Yeah.
They've got these preset
For what the hell
amounts.
is
They got 25, 100, 250, 1,000 other, and then they have 47. Is it
47th president? Yeah, 47th president.
Oh, I thought maybe the post office was running this. The same people that decide the price of a postage stamp should be 73 cents. Make it 75 already.
Exactly. Yep. But
I give you 3/4, we're done. Give me a stamp.
She is not going to, I don't believe she's going to be able to run away from her record.
No.
Until the election.
No.
But what I really do believe what they're doing, I believe that the reason that they brought her in, this is coordinated. I think the reason they brought her in at the 11th hour is, one, I don't believe the Democrats think she's going to win. I don't think she did. All of a sudden now they think that they may have a shot because she's polling really well. But the second reason was so nobody could vet her record because early voting in some states starts really early.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't.
Let me say something about the polling. And I know I sound like a broken record here. Just walk with me, okay? Who's reporting on the polling? The media. Who's conducting much of the polling? The media.
Well, but there's some independent polls that are usually pretty good that are still polling her pretty well.
There are, but here's the thing about polling, and it doesn't really matter who's running it, but when you've got the media machine behind the polling especially, and Terry can verify everything I'm about to say here about this. We are able to gather, we can compile more data on more people than we have ever been able to compile before. We know more about you than we've ever known. The political machine knows more about you than they've ever known before. They are able to research your shopping habits, your dietary habits, your listening habits, your TV viewing habits, your movie viewing habits. They are able to research and dig deeper into people's lives than they ever have before in part because you're giving them more information than you've ever given them before.
Go ahead.
You absolutely, social media is a perfect example. You surrender so much of your information and your life and everything about. There are some people that you literally could just scout their social media page, their Facebook page, or their Instagram page, or whatever. And if you're inquisitive enough, you can figure out a whole hell of a lot about people's lives in just a few minutes just by looking at their social media accounts. They're able to craft a poll, know exactly who they're going to poll, and based on the data that they're able to gather on people, they can pretty much guess how you're going to respond to the questions. All they got to do, once they know what the answer is that they need, now it's a matter of asking the right people in the right way.
That's true.
And you will extract the answer you're looking for.
But more to your point just a minute ago, and I'm not, this isn't social media because I don't do Facebook and I don't do Instagram and all that sort of stuff. But my phone was sitting right here where last show when we were talking.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about the old Sheridan that's going to be torn down.
Yes.
And we were talking about, okay, what's the city going to do?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I wonder if the city is going to extend that RV park. There's a city-owned RV park right there.
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to extend that.
Yeah.
The next time I opened my phone up to a web browser, I got a pop-up ad for that RV park. I'd never talked about RV park. I'd never seen that. I'd never.
But there it is.
I never looked for that RV park ever.
It's listing.
And it had to have, guys, because I'd never once ever talked about that RV park, or in years I haven't. Yeah. And I promise you, I've never looked up information on that RV park. And we talked about that on this show. And the next time I opened a web browser on my phone, it popped up an ad to that RV park.
I had a guy, and he showed me the ads that he got. He did an experiment. He and his wife sat around one night and started talking about cat food. They don't own a cat, have never owned a cat. They wouldn't let a cat within 5 miles of their house. They don't want a cat. They don't have a cat. They've never had a cat. But they start talking about cat food with their phones sitting there. And they both started getting served ads for cat food, cat litter, for pet products, cat-related pet products delivered to their phones. He said, now that proves, he said, we didn't search for it. We've never had a need to because we don't own a cat. He said, we just sat there and talked about it.
Yeah.
And within a day or so, they start getting delivered ads for these pet-related products.
I almost want to go to a flip phone.
I don't know if that'll even do you any good now or not. I mean,
if there's no smartphone, you don't get ads for anything.
Yeah. But how done with the flip phones now, Terry?
You can find them. They got big buttons.
I want a jitterbug. That's what. Mom, wife, store.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Okay, you're talking about this a little bit and talking about research. And you have access to a lot of information. So what I've done here is I brought up ChatGPT. And I have 2 independent conversations. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious if there's any biases we can detect here. Mm-hmm. But I said I basically said or requested that ChatGPT 4.0, the latest, tell me about Vice President Harris's pluses and minuses running for president, and it laid out a thing. And now I don't know if it doesn't surprise me necessarily. I don't think there's any bias in this, but the formatting is different. So I asked the same thing, exact same wording, just change the name to protect the guilty. No pun intended there. Tell me about former President Trump's pluses and minuses, and it's slightly different in the way it formatted it, but it gave more bullet points, whereas. It just numbered, So
pluses are a lot less.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, the pluses and minuses, and So anyway, just if you're into the Chat GPT or even on Google's, it used to be
Do
called
you like
Bard.
ChatGPT, Terry?
No, no. But
think guys don't stalk it.
I have challenged it in the past. Haven't done this in a while. Maybe we need to do a show where we interview ChatGPT.
That's be interesting.
I think we did it a little bit like this.
We did that one time on
the radio.
Yeah.
And so we need to come up with an interview.
Interview ChatGPT
I think that would
the
be
podcast.
Terry has to be chat. He has to read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
Oh no,
play
I can
a game?
no. We can actually have a conversation right here. I click this, and we can have a conversation with it right now.
What I want to know is
What voice are you going to put on it?
I can choose the voice.
I want to do like Howdy Doody or something.
I don't know if you can.
Guys, I
Well,
look.
Kamala Harris is.
I just don't know how impressed I am with technology because I saw Weird Science,
Yeah.
and where's that at?
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway,
Looks like we're running out of time.
We
here.
are. We're out of time here. All kidding aside, it's a joke here. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this episode of Get It Right Texoma, brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls. EddieHillsFunCycles.com. MacTech Solutions at 4020 Ray Road, Wichita Falls, Suite 3B. MacTech-Solutions.com website. And Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, lpsweet.com, the website. On Facebook at Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop, Lollie is how you spell Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop on
King
Facebook.
cake. King cake.
King cake, pies,
Now that I know what it is.
cookies out the cookie.
That's right.
Anyway, welcome. Thank you for being with us very much for being here. Be sure and share this on your social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you got. Tell your friends about it. And again, make sure to join us for the next episode as well. Until next time, guys, take care. We'll see you